live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and blasttheradio.com. This is The Lowell Green Show. The number to call and be heard around the world is 613-413-2217. Or email Lowell at blasttheradio.com. And now, here is Lowell Green.
Question. Is the Freedom Convoy and all those involved some sort of satanic cult? You'd certainly think so, given the kind of media coverage the Convoy and its supporters continue to receive. Look at the front page of the Ottawa Sun today. I'll just make sure I got this, okay? You see that?
Yep. Private
police.
Yep.
Private police. Community concerns grow over group with links to Freedom Convoy starting own security force. What absolute utter bullshit. Fear and demonizing underway. Spread more fear. Why the Ottawa Sun, of all newspapers, would do this, God only knows. Briefly, the background of the story is this, okay? Some guy has bought the former St. Bridget's Church in Lower Town, says he plans to convert it into, I gather, some kind of community center. And I can tell you from personal experience, St. Bridget's Church, or what used to be the church, is falling apart. It was falling apart years ago. I got involved trying to save the church, trying to get the diocese to spend enough money to fix it up. Roof was leaking, etc., etc. But the Archbishop didn't listen to me. I mean, what Archbishop would listen to Lowell Green, right? Or anybody else. Most of the parishioners, by the way, were Portuguese. They had a really, really very popular Portuguese priest there. But anyway, that's beside. That's the story of St. Bridget's. So it was whatever it is, unconsecrated, whatever you do in the Catholic Church. It was no longer a church. It's just sort of been decaying as far as I can gather. So this guy buys the church. Says, I'm going to create this community center or something like it, okay? But because this guy apparently knows or is acquaintance or is friends somehow or other with some organizers of the convoy, the whole thing is being demonized, okay? And the Sun front page, the story only contributes to that, all right? Apparently, the church has been vandalized a couple of times. Surprise, surprise, right? In Lower Town. My God, church is being vandalized. And there have been some thefts. So the owner says, you know what? The police don't seem prepared to help me here. So I'm going to form some sort of little security brigade or whatever it is. I got a few guys together, maybe some women, and we'll have our own security force just to make sure that the church is no longer vandalized, etc., etc. Oh God, this is like the end of the world. As they say, so out comes the Sun. Private police, Oh my God, private police. He's gonna have a few people just monitor the church to make sure it's no longer vandalized. And for this, he's being demonized, being interpreted by the media and apparently some ill-informed residents, as the Sun says. Bridget's will soon form some kind of private police. And since the owner knows someone in the truckers and the convoy, God help us all. We're all in danger, sedition, treason, havoc. And I saw this is terrible. The owner knows somebody in the convoy. Fear mongering, representing the truck convoy or Freedom Convoy, whatever you call it. Hey, nothing new there, eh? I mean, we've seen it from the day that the convoy arrived in Ottawa with its F Trudeau signs. That's what did it, okay? F Trudeau. Can't have that. So we know what happened. The convoy, the truckers who were peaceful, they were accused of everything. I don't know. They raided the mission, took out and stole food, set fire to buildings. They were going to overthrow the government. There was foreign money. It was mostly foreign money. The Emergency Act was invoked. I mean, it was like the end of the world. Okay, we all know there was a bouncy castle on Wellington Street. Closed Wellington Street. Oh, this is terrible, terrible. Wellington Street's still closed, and now it's fine. Okay, when the convoy closes the street, this is terrible. It's sedition, treason, overthrow of the government. The Americans are going to take over. The Russians are coming. The Russians are coming. The Ukrainians are. I don't know who's coming. But now that the street is still closed, oh, that's fine. This is the mayor. The mayor and Trudeau have decided. Anyway, that's to decide this. But and I mean, it's unbelievable. So even today, after all of this, all of the media coverage that we've had for this, and I mean, there's no question in my mind that they overstayed. In fact, I and many others saying, time to go home, time to stay too much. And the horns were annoying, and I had no question. Okay, they were a pain in the ass, right? But then so is democracy sometimes. So, but at any rate. But this continual, I mean, we had organizers, we know this, a little, 4'9" tall woman, grandmother, in shackles, in jail for 49 days. I mean, convicted murderers sometimes don't get 49 days. Anyway, we all know what happened. And it continues today. Private police. It's not. They're going to have some people to protect the church. And somehow or other, this is a satanic cult. You know what? They really have devil worship. This is why they bought the church. Okay, it's devil worship that's going on in there. Wait till you see the basement of St. Bridget's is filled with guns, ready for the takeover. Not only that, I'll tell you something else. Okay, some of the people involved there have been known to have the odd drink. All right, and some of them even smoke. We have seen people smoking cigars in there, ready for the takeover. Okay, so far we haven't seen any Russians in there. But it wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's the bullshit, the nonsense. It's unbelievable. And the media, the good old ass-kissing media, we can't have F. Trudeau signs in this city. Oh, no. So the ass-kissing media, or most of it, the bulk of it, fell right in behind. They were setting, well, we've gone through this. Now it's private police. Oh, jeez, Murphy. Fear-mongering of the worst kind, demonizing, satanic cult at work here, folks. But my question to you today is, okay, aside from all of this, what is your candid opinion of the convoy itself? What's your candid opinion? Do you support it? You opposed, partially support it? Stayed too long? Shouldn't have been here? And you might also have a few comments about the media coverage as well. I'm going to be honest with you. I have never, in 60 years pretty well of reporting in this country, I don't think I've ever seen, the only campaign against something or someone that even comes close to matching this is the campaign in the United States against Donald Trump. I mean, it's wild. Doesn't Donald Trump? He goes to part his hair, and somehow or other, this is anyhow. It's unbelievable. This whole convoy thing. So your feeling, okay? Many of you live in Ottawa. Some of you don't live in Ottawa. What's your feeling? Your candid opinion. You can be honest on this show. One of the few places where you can be honest and not get shot. Is it really a satanic cult that's going on here? Do all of these people involved really deserve to be thrown into a dungeon? Apparently, there are some, and this also the Sun says community concern grows over group with links. Wait a minute. I'd like to challenge the Ottawa Sun and the editors. Okay, I started this newspaper, so I have a right to challenge you. What community groups? I'd be very surprised if anybody has come forward, except perhaps for one or two Justin Trudeau supporters. There's no question there's some people really ticked off, okay, because the FU signs for Trudeau. If you're a Trudeau supporter, you don't like this. But I suspect that this is made up. Community concern. Who in the community? Oh, come on. I mean, why this fear mongering? The Sun I have so much, the Sun seemed to me to be about the last segment of the media where you could get any sort of conservative point of view or an opposing point of view. And they do something like this. What the hell's going on there? Brian Lilly, what's going on? So that's my question, folks. Your candid opinion of the convoy itself. Did it accomplish anything? Why this demonization continual? I mean, we're months later. And I'm going to tell you right now that Wellington Street is still closed because of this. It's somehow they've instilled in the country the fear that if they open Wellington Street, it's going to be invaded again. Government's going to be overthrown. And oh my God, now you know what? It's all centered in the old St. Bridget's Church. Oy, 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 oy. Okay, John, what have we got? Any response so far?
Absolutely. I'm just laughing because, of course, we've been accused because we have a little devil logo on the beach. You know, the Blast the Radio logo has a little devil. We've been accused. So we must all be part of this. Who doesn't know somebody who was, part of that convoy in some way, shape, or form? Craziness. All right. Rick says any activity that increases the chances of Trudeau being accidentally run over are good with me. Right. Carrie says I supported the convoy. It might have been noisy, but it was peaceful. I think if the government had met with them, they would have left sooner. Anne agrees the convoy did stay too long. Mahadi says the convoy was unacceptable. The protesters were verbally abusing the members of the media, and they were being unruly.
Oh my God, we can't have people, abusing members of the media. Oh no, oh my God, no. Oh, oh my God.
That never happens, right, Lowell?
Here's my question for all of you out there. If in fact this is really just a satanic cult funded by Russia or some other sinister foreign force, what about and I mean this, along the route, it's now estimated there were tens of thousands of people who turned out to applaud. So are they all members of this satanic cult as well? Are they all somehow or other being duped here? Tens of thousands of Canadians? And all of the people who donated money, millions of dollars. And by the way, all that money, not one single cent of that money apparently ever went to the truckers. It's now being confiscated by Trudeau, frozen. And there's no question that they stayed too long. They were noisy. They shouldn't have honked their horns and so forth. But compared to the treatment that they got, Go ahead, please, John. What do we got?
Let's go to Twitch. Julie says the convoy should have come in for the weekend and then left. I think there was a lot of mistakes made politically about this from all levels of government. The police should have shut it down after the first weekend, and I think everything has been blown way out of proportion since. All right, Joshua. Yep, sorry, Joshua is on Facebook. He says the media made it something it wasn't because they hadn't seen such a vehement protest against its own government. It wasn't Canadian, quote unquote, to do. So we weren't quiet as our reputation is meant to be. I'm glad it made some people uncomfortable. We have been comfortable for far too long. Let's go to... Sorry, I'm just bouncing around here. Apparently, we have no sound on Twitch, but people are hearing it on the website and Facebook and other streams just fine. So we'll just carry on from there. The media reporting on the trucker convoy was ridiculously biased towards Trudeau. Very unfair, says Anne. Let's go to the top of my page. So is a neighborhood watch also a private police? Good Lord. That's a good question.
Very good question. Yeah. But this, do you who are listening, watching, do you share my concern on this fear-mongering? I mean, even if you were opposed to the convoy, why the continual fear-mongering? There was no threat from this convoy. There's no threat to this little woman that came out in shackles. Do you really support that? Do you really, really think that is Canadian justice? What happened to her? She was shackled hand and feet. A grandmother. No violence, didn't threaten anybody. And apparently, like, if people really support that, then this country is in bigger trouble than I ever thought. Go ahead, John, please.
613-413-2217 is the number. You can call, you can text. We really appreciate your phone calls. Again, 613-413-2217. Carrie, with a similar comment, she says, don't other buildings also have security guards? I'm willing to bet the Ottawa Sun building has their own private police force, security, teams.
Good point.
We certainly did at the building we worked at downtown. Boo Boo on YouTube says the Freedom Convoy never instigated violence and they provided food, etc. to the homeless shelters. The media only painted a negative picture. Some people lost sleep over the idling engines. Boo.
No, but that's not addressing. It's partially addressing. But why the continual demonization? Because that's what this is. So this whole thing about St. Bridget's Church. Listen, I don't know this guy. Looks like an ordinary guy to me. Comes in, he sees a crumbling, what used to be a church, decides to buy it, and he's going to convert it into some sort of community center. Now, I'm going to tell you something. There are a lot of community centers in Lower Town. The Mission, there's Shepherds of Good Hope.
Yep.
And in many cases there are some pretty, let's say, uh, questionable people. Some of them legitimately so, some not. That go there, and whether anything like this is going to happen in St. Bridget's, I don't know. But if a few homeless people show up at St. Bridget's, there'd be nothing unusual about that in Lower Town, folks. So why the demonization? It's because of they say the guy knows the convoy. Well, wait a minute. Why is the convoy being demonized? Okay, you're demonized because you honk some horns. Go ahead, John, please.
I mean, are we not in a situation in the city where every single time an election comes up and every point in between, we're talking about where are the people standing up willing to do something about the homeless situation, about poverty, etc.? Well, here's someone trying to do something, and that's the press they get. It's
pretty bad when just because you happen to know somebody that in the convoy. Now, the owner of St. Bridget says that the only reason he knew this, he's apparently a filmmaker of some kind, private, and he came down to shoot some film of it, and I guess became acquainted with some of the people in the convoy while shooting film. Well, geez, Murphy, and this gets him a front page private police demonized. I mean, you know what? The guy, now, even his picture and everything looks like a pretty decent, ordinary guy to me. But you know what? This guy's. I submit to you that this guy's life is now in danger. There are going to be people out there who think this guy is some sort of devil incarnate. Otherwise, why would it be on the front page with a big headline like that? It's among other things, it's totally irresponsible of the Ottawa Sun. Go ahead, John, please.
We got a few comments to get to, but we've also got to get a word in here for Shields.
Good, yes. Good. Shields, I just want to once again mention the fact that Shields is now an official Sony dealership. So if you're in the market for any kind of television, what else does Sony make? I'm really not hip in any.
Sound systems.
All of this. Apparently, they're almost fully stocked now with all of Sony.
Video cameras, digital cameras.
Okay. Well, the Shields
smart speakers.
Okay. Shields will give you a real good deal, folks, if you're in the market for that, as well as appliances. They are one of the major appliance dealers. Prices are very fair, very, very comparative. And they keep telling me, Lowell, about 90% of anything you would want in appliances, we have in stock. Finance plans, yes. Check them out. Really good website, easy to see, easy to read, shields.ca. John, next to you.
And if I may, they also do appliance service and repair. And they're about to get a call from me because my dryer has given up the ghost. And for the life of me, I can't figure it out. So I'll be calling Shields on that. All right. So I'll have firsthand experience to share. Okay, here we go. Convoy stayed too long, says Lisa. They made their point after their first week.
So what? They stayed too long. I mean, so that they deserve to be demonized because of this?
I don't think she's saying that. I think that's just sort of a comment. She's like, yeah, they stayed too long, and that was it. That's the end of it.
No, yeah. but they okay. My addendum to that is, do they deserve, and everybody deserve to be demonized because of this? Months later, that's really the question here. Go ahead, John.
I mean, who doesn't know someone who, in some way, shape, or form, was part of that convoy? So I guess we're all being demonized then, aren't we?
Yeah, there's a lot of actually, there were quite a few local truckers, including and someone that I know very well and have dealt with for many, many years that was involved. He says he had 300 trucks out there. I'm surprised about that. But yeah, you're right. For the most part, these were just ordinary truckers who, a week before were considered to be heroes because they continued to go down into the States and risk their own lives and their own health anyway. Go ahead, John, please.
See, we've got Boo Boo again. The media continues to demonize the Freedom Convoy as it makes news, and those that oppose to the convoy love it. That's why it's on the front page of the Ottawa Sun.
Very
it
true.
Sells newspapers.
Very, very perceptive. Thank you. Absolutely. This, once again, a headline like this plays right into Trudeau's, right into his game, okay? once again proving this is very dangerous. This is a very dangerous organization. Trudeau was right to remove all of our civil rights to fight this organization. Go ahead, John. So it's so dangerous that some guy that's bought an old church and got to start a community center, that this is a danger to the community. It requires front page news. Go ahead, John.
Over to Facebook, where Eric says, I believe a protest achieves nothing until someone is inconvenienced. All right. James says it's a warning for anyone else who dares to question this fascist government. Glenn just chimed in moments ago. Glenn, I believe that's the first post from you. Welcome to the show. Thanks. And please give this a share on your social media channels. You guys are the best advertising we've got. Glenn says, just stop the demonization of everyone that doesn't share a particular opinion. Donald says Trudeau is scared of everything and everyone who says things against him.
By the way,
mm-hmm.
I'd be very interested to know what's going to happen to a farmer who happens to have a barn along Highway 7. Coming back,
I know what you're talking about.
Coming back from Carleton Place yesterday, I spotted this barn on the right-hand side as you're coming back to Ottawa.
So the south side.
On the south side, yeah. Well, so anyway, there's this great big sign, and I mean a big sign. Very well done, colorfully done, professionally done. It says, Freedom, F. Trudeau. So what do you think's going to happen to that farmer? That's the end. You know what? Maybe, hey, I just had an idea. Maybe that's why Trudeau wants to cut fertilizer by 30%. He said, this is the way I'll fix this farmer. He's got a sign there. I'm going to fix him. I'm going to force him to cut his crop by 30%. Yeah.
Justin Trudeau is not driving through Carleton Place. He's too busy jet setting off to foreign destinations while posting videos on social media, making it look like he's in some destination in BC protecting our waterways.
Oh, it's lovely. It's, you know what? Protest. If we can't allow protest in this country, then we are not a democracy. You know, they don't allow protest in Cuba. They don't allow it in North Korea. They don't allow it in Vietnam. Go ahead, please, John.
Social media is a protest. Call-in talk shows are a protest. This is what.
Absolutely.
Yes, your opinions. That's a protest.
Try protesting in Russia and see what happens.
Nope.
Try it in China and see what happens.
Nope.
You don't see what happens. It just happened. Bam. That's it. You're gone.
Murray says these signs are all across Canada, and yes, they are. Anne says, why was the convoy any different than a union protest of interruption and inconvenience?
Oh, very true. And how about a native protest that blocked highways, blocked pipelines, and blocked railways for days? Cost the country billions of dollars. Not one single arrest ever made. Nobody in shackles for that. Go ahead, John.
A comment from Sally, another first-time poster. Sally, thank you. She says, as a black disabled woman, I found and still find that convoy triggering and wasn't even near it. If I'm in charge, I'm suing the lot of them for mentally harming me.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Over to Kevin on Facebook. All the Trudeau sock puppets think this man is a devil. Don't go against the Trudeau regime or you are done.
Oh, it's curtains for that farmer. Go ahead, John.
Paul just chimed in via email. The address here is Lowell@blasttheradio.com. Hi, Lowell. On being offended in a politically correct world, the author Salman Rushdie said it best. Nobody has the right to not be offended. And he lived with a price on his head because his book was so offensive to some people. That's Paul. Let me see. Where's my notes here? Let's go to... I supported the convoy, says Tom. Most intelligent people know it was the out-of-town yahoos who caused any of the trouble. Dwayne says, 43 years a trucker. I supported it all. Government had to do all the government had to do was meet. Sorry, Dwayne.
John, the previous writer said, caused the trouble. Other than blocking Wellington Street and honking horns, what trouble was caused? It's been found that they didn't light any fires. They never went down and stole from the Rideau. The story is that there was so many of them showed up at the Rideau Center that the Rideau Center closed for 2 or 3 hours. There are some people who would think that would be a blessing, but anyway. I don't know. Go ahead.
And that would have been the Rideau Center's private police, by the way, that decided to close things. The same private police, by the way, I remember the Rideau Center closing for 2 to 3 hours once upon a time because and I was the MC because the Backstreet Boys were there for a meet and greet with their fans, and there were more people than the Rideau Center could possibly handle. So they shut the place down. I'm not trying to pick a team here, but anyway, I guess
I understand. By the way, we forgot to mention that chaos strikes the capital city of Canada, 8 p.m. tonight.
Oh, yes.
8 p.m. tonight. No rail, hardly any buses. Queensway blocked totally. 8 p.m. Oh, God. Can you imagine trying to get to work tomorrow? Good luck. Good luck. Go ahead, John.
Don't laugh, Lowell, says Barbara. I know for a fact in one condo building downtown, they were organizing a support group. All right. Businesses being disrupted, Chrissy says, was a problem. Justin Trudeau looks like...
But excuse me. Other than the Rideau Center, what business was disrupted? As a matter of fact, there are a number of businesses who say business was really good because a lot of these people were in the restaurants and so forth. So the story that somehow our businesses were affected. I want to point out the main problem was blocking Wellington Street. But Wellington Street is still blocked. That's what really grinds me. Go ahead, John.
Are there even any businesses along that stretch of Wellington Street? A lot of government buildings. I mean, you've got the Senate, you've got the Supreme Court, obviously. You would have MP offices across the street. What's in the former U.S. Embassy?
I don't know. I'm not sure if there were any businesses. There probably some legal offices of some kind.
Yeah, but I struggle to even think would there be a coffee shop on that stretch. A couple of blocks over, absolutely. But
I don't know. The big thing, you know what? The big problem was the honking of horns. No question, this disrupted the sleep of some people. And it was kind of stupid. They shouldn't have done it. There's no question about it. That was stupid. But does it deserve the demonization that's now they've been saddled with? I don't think so. Go ahead, John.
And I think that's just what it was. It was the noise and the size and the scale and the smell of that protest that we hadn't seen the likes of before. And that's what got people freaked out. All right, Sally's back. Yeah. Okay. Well, diesel has a smell, right? And so does barbecuing pigs on the sidewalk. Anyway, Sally says, what they did was far more than a protest. Been in lots of them. Lowell Green laughing at my real mental health concern is why I am a first and last time contributor. Josh,
wait a minute. Hold it. What is it? What gave you mental problems with this? Well, you say there's a good deal more, but see, this is part of the fear campaign. What was involved that you didn't see there? There was no foreign money that came in. There was no attempt at violence. Nobody was armed. There was no attempt to overthrow the government. What? They didn't set fire. Go ahead, please, John.
Murray says they were told to close, and the last ones that stayed open were supported by the convoy. Here's an interesting comment from Joshua on Facebook. He says they allowed a Black Lives Matter march in the middle of COVID while everything else was barred, but the convoy was wrong. Both of these were fine, or both were wrong. Let's not pick and choose according to what we agree with, he says. Interesting. Nathaniel says, if you live downtown, you have to expect downtown things, i.e. protesters. That's the old Lansdowne Park argument again, isn't it? And Chrissy says, washrooms being used. Downtown core is all I was getting at, just overcrowding. Agree, money was made in these businesses. Okay. Let's wrap things up. We got 2 or 3 more comments over here from Ann. She says, this government seems to have little respect or regard for blue-collar workers, a group which, of course, truckers would belong to. I find that odious. My father was a truck driver. And she says, I agree with Lowell about the ridiculous demonization of what this group is doing at the St. Bridget's Church. It reminds me of the Charlie McCarthy hearings to fish out communists in the U.S. Very scary similarity. There you go.
Thank you all, folks. Some good comments today. I appreciate it. Back tomorrow.
The Lowell Green Show is seen and heard live around the world at 2 p.m. Eastern. Connect with us online at blasttheradio.com/Lowell Green. Can't join us live? Download the Lowell Green podcast. Available on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. Ask your smart speaker to play the Lowell Green podcast. This is a production of blasttheradio.com.